Do you know the main difference between a child's bike and an adult's bike? It's not the size or the training wheels, it's the brakes. I'll explain more in a moment, but on a perfect summer day, when I was just 5 years old, I learned this lesson the hard way. That day, we visited my aunt's house in Maryland, just across the border from Washington, D.C. The weather was immaculate, and in the 80s, that meant kids were outside while adults were inside. I don't know, adulting. Looking for trouble, as I often did, I wandered into my aunt's garage and came across her brand new 10-speed bike. It's important to note that the weekend before, I had completed my first bike ride without training wheels. It's also important to mention that my aunt lived at the end of a cul-de-sac, at the top of a hill, and the only way out led straight into a busy intersection. I got on the bike without permission and took off down the sidewalk. Now, let's go back and talk about those brakes. On a child's bike, the brakes are activated when you pedal backwards. On an adult bike, they're on the handlebars. This difference becomes painfully clear as I race down the sidewalk and into the intersection, where I was struck by the silver bumper of an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, a car made back when cars were still made of metal. I was medevac to Children's Hospital. A few days later, when I woke up, head wrapped in bandages, my mom and dad were by my side. The first thing I asked them was, does this mean I can't ride bikes anymore? Smiling through the tears, they assured me I'd definitely be allowed to ride again. Now keep in mind, this came from a father who had just flown in a helicopter with his son, unsure if I'd survive, and a mother who, after hearing what had happened, locked herself in our family car, trying to protect herself from the unfolding nightmare. They could have reacted with fear. They could have punished me or made the moment about them having control, but instead, they chose patience and love. They told me that I'd ride again, and not long after, they took my brother and me to Disney World. Now, I can't say for sure that the trip was connected, but it does make for a good story. Even though I wouldn't fully understand it for years, my parents taught me something that day that shapes who I am right now. How I show up in my recovery from substance use disorder, in my work, and as a parent. They taught me to fall forward, to face my mistakes, to learn from the pain, and keep going. I share this because stories aren't just things we remember. They're teachers. This one, about fear, compassion, and second chances, helped shape one of my core values: resilience, grounded in love. What I think is most important about this story is what I think about all the times since then that life has knocked me down. And I remember that young boy in the hospital bed asking, while still wrapped in bandages, if he'll be able to ride bikes again. And how crazy we are sometimes, how easily deterred from our path because of fear, or shame, or uncomfort, and how every time I faced those things, things may not have ended up exactly how I'd imagined them in my head, but I always ended up better. This is the power of storytelling. Not just the story, not just the audience, not just the moment in time where people are clapping for you or someone's nodding in agreement. It's our ability to look back, remember the best parts of ourselves, and call on them when we need them in the present. And if you want to know how to do that, if you want to learn how to find the hope in your struggle, in your story, then you should check out our free course developed with the National Council for Mental Well-Being called Stories of Hope. It's free. Link, I am pretty sure, is right beneath me in the description. I look forward to hearing your story.